My name is John Costianes. I live in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I've been to the United States since 1951. I'm a Korean vet, and I feel that I have come home. And you say, why? My father was originally of the original people who began this society. And you can see in the pictures inside, and then he got married here in 1924. My brother, who passed away last year, was here every year, very instrumental in keeping this place going, and my sisters. And when I came here, I feel like I'm home. I came to the States, as I said, in 1951. I began my career in Ithaca, New York. I'm being an American in Ithaca, New York. And then I went to the military during the Korean conflict. When I got out, I was a restless individual. Obviously, that's why when I came to the States, I was restless. And I went to Chicago, studied electronics. And then I started traveling, working for various organizations associated with the military. And then in Wisconsin, a friend convinced me to go to college. And I went, even though my English was limited. In a way, I'm speaking about achieving the American dream, which I think I have. And I'm trying to relate it also to what's this got to do with this place. I think back during the war, both the World War II and the communist uprising in Greece taught us a lot of things, being tough, being persistent, and hungry for something, for success, for adventure. We live in danger. And so when we came here, we brought those things with us. And you don't see any Tsintzinian who has not progressed, socioeconomically speaking, mostly economically, because we suffer a lot, and we come here. They call it Horat Sapageli, I mean, the country of opportunity, and we take full advantage of what is available here. On my part, I have found America to be my perfect home. I have found people who encourage me to fulfill my whatever aspirations that I had, and I took advantage of that. I went to University of Wisconsin, then studied engineering. I went to Washington University in St. Louis. I worked with missile launchers and so forth. And then I went to University of Missouri, where I changed my, I think I found my needs. I changed from engineering to social sciences. I became a social worker. And then I went to study, got a master's in social psychology. And I need to finish my dissertation to become a PhD in sociology. However, all along, I felt that what drove me that way. I think some of the things that we learn in the village and also in Greece in general. I got to where my vision was of embracing the world. People being killed everywhere, just like we were. We would suffer like we did, and then when I found my niche through some philosopher friends, my mission was to, and I exercised it, to assist with all the people of the world to improve their socioeconomic status and to reach the potential as human beings, as individuals. And I thought I was unique, but then, as I was indicating, my mission was to help people help themselves, and as a result of that, I traveled throughout the United States, except Alaska, Latin America, part of Africa, and I did just that, help people pull themselves up from bootstraps, so to speak. Why? Why did I do that? Why did I have that feeling? I don't know, but I look back and I see that, and people ask me, why am I driven? Why? And I see that we grew up, even though it was a war, we still grew up in a society that was free expression. It had the drive to excel. The motto, even from the old Sparta time, was the older people would say, we are the best now. The middle-aged people, we are the best now. The youth would say, the motto was, we will be better than you. So that helped as a motivation for most of us who went to school in Greece or grew up in it. And it appears that sometimes I come over here and I feel that I'm rejuvenated, that I get back to the old days, that I'm renewing my spirit. And in the process, I see old friends and I see a lot of young people. And with my experience in dealing with people, I relate to them. Even though I'm 77, I love to dance, and I dance right up with them. And I try to, whenever I have an opportunity to converse with them, ask them what do they do with themselves, where they go to school, whatever. So in a sense, I'm extending my profession by coming here because I feel the need to exchange information, to motivate, and to motivate everybody to reach, to be, if I paraphrase the military, be all you can be. And I feel rejuvenated here, and I think that I will become more often. My children were married outside of the community and outside of their religion, so it is very difficult for me to bring him here as much as I would like to. So I try to do that, instill that spirit at home, and whenever I get a chance, I'll bring my grandchildren to get a sense of belonging, a sense of roots. And in some ways, I regret that I haven't been here more often, but I can't deny myself the need to come here. And I did use as an excuse, I did travel extensively overseas and throughout the United States, and it was difficult to come home, and I needed rest and so forth, and the summertime was different to make it here. So, but I will make a point to come back. And the youth, if I could convey some of the youth, what I did with myself, how can you, even a son or grandson of an immigrant, can achieve the American dream? If I can instill this in our conversation, and this another mission, which is not intended when I come here. I come here to visit home, so to speak. The spirits of my folks are here. But the sharing of me, the sharing is something that I grew up with, and I'm trying to somehow instill it in the youth. Hopefully, I will succeed to some extent, and I hope that other people here also realize that youth just shouldn't be come here just for recreation, which is good because it makes it easier for them to connect. But at some point, we should also discuss a little bit more about what Tsintzina means, what the village had offered to us, what did to us, how did it inspire us, and so forth, and how they should also be feeling that they should follow the motto, be better than their parents. better than their grandparents. Not better people necessarily. Better people, yes, but more successful in every way. That they have taken advantage of the cultural drive that's inherent in most of us. And whether we like it or not, there's no question in most of our families here, particularly the older one, that education is terribly important. There's no question that they will often push the kids too hard for education, but I think when they socialize with each other, they realize that, hey, my father was in a restaurant, but I don't have to be there. I can do different kinds of things. I didn't. My father died way before I came to America, but he had a restaurant at some point, and I had a different drive. And when they ask me sometimes in college where the drive comes from, and I look back and I find that the freedom with which we grew up in those villages, freedom of expression, you didn't have to worry about gangsters, you didn't have to worry about drugs, you didn't have to worry about all these kinds of things. So our mind was free to absorb education, to absorb knowledge, to absorb. We scratched whatever garbage we could get, a magazine that would give us something about the world. A friend of mine from the United Nations told me that Greece was such a unique place, particularly in our area, that when he went to visit the villages for community improvement, people will come from the fields, and they'll stop when they saw them, if they had a flat tire or whatever. The United Nations, they opened a conversation, and the United Nations people were amazed how well informed and opinionated these people were. And that comes from the freedom of expression in the villages as we grow up. And you can't help to want to excel, and we'd like to instill some of it in here.
Can you tell me where you were born or where you grew up initially?
I was born in Tsintzina, the village of Tsintzina, from which we all are. Although this is a summer, Tsintzina is a village where two other villages go for the summertime, 3 months. And I was born, I'm a true Tsintzinian in the sense that I was born there July 14, 1934. And I always enjoy back. I still have contact. I still maintain a home. But the fact is also that I left and lived in Athens before I came here. So I found that I have a variety of relationships and obligations, with different friends from different places. I was always kind of a restless individual. My first desire as a youngster was to become a merchant marine captain, which is terribly odd given the fact that we were born in the mountains. And the only water we had to swim in is we blocked the creek so we could swim somewhere. And yet, a number of us had a desire. We wanted to go. We hadn't even seen the sea, but we wanted to break out, to find new horizons, new places. And when I came here, by the time I learned English and finished with my military, it was too late, and then I went in a different direction. And I started from scratch. I worked just about everything you can think of. I never had a lot of money, but I was happy because I was going somewhere, I was doing things, I was achieving. And that, I think, I owe to my upbringing in those areas. And I think for the youngsters, if I could instill in them the need for freedom of expression and the importance of becoming all you can be, so to speak. And I'm working with educational systems to changed somewhat the way they teach people, to challenge them more, and that's another thing I like to do with people here. So no matter what I am, these are the kinds of things that surface, and I try to do the best of it I can.
Now, since you're the first person I think I've talked to from Tsintzina, what did it feel like in terms of either a challenge or the discovery that when people would come and spend the summer there? Because people say, well, what was it like for the people who lived there to have all these people come
people come without any knowledge of where they're going. Although lately they had a little bit more information of what's going on in America and so forth, but to them it's a challenge. They want to discover something beyond the village. They go to Athens, not just America, Athens and other places, Europe. So I guess it goes back to ancient Greeks. They were wanderers, they were travelers, they were explorers, both of the mind and physically of the environment. And coming to America without a language, without money in your pocket, without a job, it's a challenge. I work 18 hours a day when I first came here. But one wonderful thing that I found here, which truly made me love this country, was that I found people that were willing to give me an opportunity to excel. If they saw that I was eager, I was interested in excelling. And I'm also trying to tell people here, the kids, if you show initiative, or you should show initiative, interest, people will see it, will notice it, and they will help you excel. But definitely it's a challenge coming here. It's a challenge raising your kids, because you have the kids also facing, the parents facing the challenge of the kids who are facing different cultures, and they can be swayed, they can be rebellious. So at least the first and second generation are extremely difficult to go through. I was more fortunate that I don't know if I was more fortunate, but I had a desire to learn English. I had desire to exceed, to travel. A lot of other people work here, open up a restaurant or some other business, and they stay there, and one day they wake up and they're 50, 60 years old, and they say, what have I accomplished? Well, okay, you made some money, you help your kids go to college or whatever, achieve whatever. Well, so that is something that a lot of the people here have to look back and justify the years of hard work, the years of hardships, and the battles they have with the various cultures and say the kids. It doesn't stop there, and I found the kids after they rebel the first generation, and then in the beginning, but once they grow older, they find that they're not as accepted with everybody else as they think they are. So they're looking for a root. They look for a group to belong. Doesn't mean I don't have friends. I have friends all over the world. But they're friends. You don't belong with them all the time. Here, you're home. And this.
May I ask you to do one final thing? I keep in my mind wanting to have you say something like "Yasupa Dekimu," or something, some kind of a little friendly, encouraging thing, or say something about what you just described to me in Greek, so that someone, if they speak Greek or they don't know Greek, they'll hear the encouragement in the words.
Well, Tim, I've lost some of it. Για τους πατριώτες και φίλους Τσιτσινιώτες, για όλους τους Έλληνες που συναντώ, τους συνιστώ να θυμηθούν από πού ήρθανε, τις ρίζες τους, το χωριό τους, τι είχαν μάθει, τι περάσανε και να τα μεταδώσουν στα παιδιά τους και να τα ενθαρρύνουν να προχωρήσουν στη ζωή, να μην παραμένουν πίσω, διότι το σύνθημα όλων των Ελλήνων και των Σπαρτιατών ήταν τα παιδιά να γίνουν καλύτερα από τους πατεράδες και τους παππούδες. And if they can say to them, εάν μπορούν να τους πούνε ότι εγώ είχα ρεστοράν, είχα εστιατόριο και εσάς θέλω να γίνετε κάτι καλύτερα από ό,τι έγινε, να μην δουλεύετε τόσο πολύ, να γνωρίσετε κόσμο, γιατί εγώ δεν ταξίδεψα πουθενά. Και κατά αυτόν τον τρόπο να ενθαρρύνετε τα παιδιά, τις νέες γενναίες, να προχωρήσουν, να μην φοβούνται να ξεφύγουν λίγο από τα ήθη και έθιμα τα δικά μας. Ας τους ελεύθερους να πειραματιστούν με σκέψεις καινούργιες, με πείρες καινούργιες, με ανθρώπους καινούργιους από διάφορες χώρες, διότι ο κάθε ένας μας έχει κάτι να προσφέρει ως άτομο. Να ελευθερώσουμε τα παιδιά μας, να μπορέσουν να καταλάβουν τι είναι αυτό που μπορούν να προσφέρουν ως άτομα και να προχωρήσουν να το καταλάβουν και να το αποκτήσουν.
Okay, and just for those who don't understand Greek, could you give me the gist of what you just said? Or was it some of what you already said in English? Or do you want to not bother with that?
Say it back.
Can you give me an idea?
Okay.
The battery got a little low. No, that one's still good. But that should be enough. Okay, so again, before you capitalize it, because this may go online to Tsintzina. Is there anything you want to say to thank the folks in Tsintzina for what they gave you growing up? You want to say something as a tribute to thanking those who may see this in Greece?
I'm not sure what exactly
Well, let's say this goes online and then somebody sees you talking. Do you want to give some kind of acknowledgement to the people still in Tsintzina?
That's pretty much what I've said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure. I'm kind of...
pretty much what I've said is that in Greek, to encourage them to do the kinds of things I said, to let the people grow as individuals. And don't be afraid to let them venture a little bit more outside the Tsiginian, outside the Greek society, because each of them has individual abilities, individual desires, and let them, give them some slack in order to grow and fulfill who they are. This is part of our tradition, part of being Tsiginian, part of achieving, and that's pretty much what I said in Greek.
And this probably seems very simple-minded, because I have used to say yasu, I mean, like a thank you,
Also,
just as the audience, like thank you for...
Για όλους τους αδελφούς και φίλους Τσιτζινιώτες, είμαι υπερήφανος να είμαι Τσιτζινιώτης και είμαι ακόμα υπερήφανος και χαρούμενος που ξαναγύρισα στο Τσιτζινιώτικο κλαμπ και υπόσχομαι ότι θα προσπαθήσω να έρχομαι πιο συχνά. Σας αγαπώ όλους, I love you all, and have a great time, and let's dance and be merry. To give you a little bit of history of my background, my great-grandfather on my mother's side came came in the United States somewhere in the 1876, 1878. He was probably the first Greek American, I might say, who graduated from high school. He was fluent in English, and he went back and forth to Greece 18 times. Those days were very difficult. Prepared the papers for friends, and brought them over, and then it took them where their relatives were and so forth. They had established a, I don't want to say mafia, but it was a family kind of thing from the village where we came from, and they had business, fruits and vegetables from Hawaii all the way to New York and from Mexico. And there are remnants of those people now in those places in Hawaii. When I went a few years back, I found them in Hawaii, they're Tsintzinians, and they were excited. So we brought them over, and they get them apricots, whatever, and they sold fruits and vegetables until they learn about what America is all about, the opportunities. And then they graduated to a soda bar. And so that's why there's a big concentration in Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, West Virginia, because this was the base. And this one has something to do with it. My father came when, by the way, my grandfather became an American citizen in 1866, and I have the papers for him back here. My father's pictures, as I indicated, they're in here when they got married. My father came at 14 years of age in 1900 in San Antonio, Texas, and worked on a railroad until he saved some money, learned a little bit about this, came in contact with the people up north, and then he came up and he opened up restaurants in Olean, New York, Batavia, New York. He went back to Greece to fight during with other Chichignotes back in 1912 and 1918 against the Turks. There were about 4 or 5 Chichignotes that dropped everything, and they dressed in the national uniform, Evzonos, and went back to Greece to fight. And this was, patriotism to the X degree. And later on, my older sister was born here in Batavia, New York, and she's here somewhere. And but then my father went back to Greece and made some money, achieved the dream, and the rest, 3 additional, 1 girl and 2 boys were born. I'm the youngest one of the family. So that is pretty much the history, but they were all involved here. They frequent here a lot. And I remember that my mother, who raised us, and we went through hell with Germans burned our homes, and the communists tried to destroy us because we had connections to the West. And in fact, my mother's maiden name, on one side, the communists chasing us because we had something to do with the West. And then when the right wing saw my mother's ID, and her maiden name was that of the top general of the communist movement in Greece from up in Macedonia, you can imagine what happened. So we had to really escape from the village and went to Athens before we came to America. And I remember in Athens, I went 12 o'clock at night, or 12 o'clock in the morning, however you want to see, outside the embassy door, so American embassy, so that I can get my papers ready to come over here. My father died in the meantime in Greece during the war, and but we came over. My sister came automatically as an American-born natural citizen, but after that we came as displaced persons because our homes were burnt and we suffered under both the communists and so forth. I was going to make it here one way or another, and for months I slept outside of the embassy door to make it here. And I think they got tired of me, so they got the papers, and we came over with my mother. And after that, the rest of the family came home.